Today's shout out goes out to Mr. Fagan's social studies classes at Legacy Charter High School in Greenville, South Carolina. What is Ray LaHood's job in the U.S. government? Here we go. Is he the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of State, CIA Director, or Federal Reserve Chairman? You've got 3 seconds. Go. Secretary LaHood runs the Transportation Department. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
Secretary LaHood and the Transportation Department are working on ways to cut down on distracted driving. You've heard a lot about this, how dangerous it can be. You've talked about distracted driving on our blog. But if you've ever wondered how quickly that something you might do behind the wheel can distract you from what's happening on the road, Lizzie O'Leary had the chance to find out, and she shows us right here.
We all know distracted driving is risky, but we do it anyway. To understand just how a crash like that can happen, we went to the University of Iowa's driving simulator. It's like a giant metal spider perched on hydraulic legs.
How big is that thing?
Big. A full-size vehicle fits inside of that, so a real car surrounded by a 360-degree field of view motion base. It has a 6-degree of freedom legs that come up, and so we can spin and rock back and forth.
It's the closest thing to driving without actually being on the road. That lets researchers safely test what it takes for you to be distracted, with cameras recording even the smallest eye movement.
We can look away about 1 to 3/4 seconds to about 2 seconds before things begin to shift in our lane. We have to have a steering wheel correction. So it doesn't take much time to have a substantial correction in your driving.
It only takes 2 seconds?
Only about 2 seconds before we see things breaking down.
A typical text takes 4 seconds.
So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to adjust your seat.
Okay.
You knew we were going to test it, right? Complete with a series of screens that simulate distraction like a bee or a text message.
So it feels like you're actually driving in a landscape. You can see
Driving the car feels real, with motion and a changing landscape. And yes, this is my real reaction on the researchers' camera when they surprised me.
Number recall.
597.
That's good. Keep your seatbelt.
Good for research purposes, but not reality. In 2009, more than 5,000 people were killed by distracted driving. More than 400,000 were injured. Even talking on a hands-free phone takes your mind off the road, but the riskiest thing is texting. More than 35 states now ban texting behind the wheel. Deborah Hersman, whose agency investigates crashes, says that's just a start.
The federal government could push the states further by providing incentive grants, giving them money to help them do this.
And ultimately, help drivers on the road.